5 skills you need to master before the S hits the proverbial rotating air mover. And the best of all, none of these are going to cost you any money, and some of them can actually earn money or at least save you a whole bunch of money. Hey guys, I'm Matt with BAAM Ranch. If you get anything out of this video, I encourage you to like and subscribe. I will ask for a little bit of forgiveness. My microphone died, so cut me some slack on the audio, all right? So, 5 skills that you really need to learn. Let's jump right into it. So the first is the gathering of information. And yeah, this is glorified reading the news. But not just reading it, but actually being able to determine whether or not it's truthful or useful information to you, or if it's just some kind of bullcrap propaganda, which most of it is. Being able to find multiple sources for everything. What sources do I look at? Do I exclude RT because that's nothing but Russian propaganda? Well, no, it's understanding that if I want to know anything about a subject, I have to look at both sides of it. Otherwise, I have no basis to form an opinion on anything. And as far as that goes, being able to understand, multiple sources of that. Is it actual multiple sources, or is it just circular reporting where you found it in 17 different places, but they all link back to an article that the New York Times published, several weeks ago, and it's just now being picked up by all these other sources. So it's important to be able to filter through all of that and determine what's useful. Now, as far as some of the sources that you need to look at, well, really, it's, your basic Fox, CNN, your big media companies, right? They, while not exactly truthful in everything they do give some truth to some things, and it gives you the ability to cross-reference or at least spark that thought in your brain of, okay, well, now I need to look into this a little bit further. Surprisingly, TikTok has a lot of really good, useful information on it. A lot of times you'll see stuff that comes out on TikTok that the mainstream media won't pick up for several days. Once again, you have to use your skills to be able to determine whether or not that's useful information, whether it's complete bullshit, or, you just kind of got to filter through it. 2 sources that I'm going to go ahead and mention that I listen to every day. I listen to them in podcast format, but the Wright Report, the WRIGHT, the Wright Report, and S2 Underground. Both of them are pretty fair on what they tend to report. S2 Underground I like because it's generally under 5 minutes. It's just slammed through nothing but the news. And both of them seem to offer pretty well agreeing in what's going on. I'm not going to say they're right 100% of the time, but I would encourage you to listen to those. I listen to them on podcast with Spotify every single day. The next skill, networking. Like it or not, you're not going to get through anything without a network of people that you can count on, people that you can trust and that they can trust you as well. And the same goes with everything that I mentioned in here and everything that I mentioned in every video. We don't have to wait for the end of the world to find out that, we can live a good life. The same network of people that you develop for your preparedness plan for whenever the balloon goes up and the SHTF, whatever scenario you imagine, that same group of people in your network can assist you today. We don't have to wait until something bad happens. So having someone that's a mechanic, an electrician, a plumber, and someone who knows something about the medical field. And I'm not saying that we need to go out and make friends with these people just as a value for value exchange, but you'd be surprised the number of people that you already know that have more information about particular things than you may be aware of. So having a network of people that you can trust is imperative. After that, basic hunting and fishing. This needs no explanation on why it's a survival skill. But it goes much further than just the act of shooting a rabbit or a squirrel or catching a catfish, right? It gets us used to being out in the elements. It gets us used to recognizing sign of where something has been. The area around us, we get used to seeing what the normal is. Whenever we can establish what the baseline normal is, we can see when something changed. So there's all sorts of additional skills that come with hunting and fishing that we really don't think about, right? So look into that. And yes, the trophy deer hunting and whatever, that's important. But if we're talking about putting food on the table, it's shooting the squirrel or the bird or the rabbit. That's the stuff that's going to put food on the table day after day. Moving on from that, it does us no good to talk about all this food and everything if we have no idea how to cook from scratch. I challenge you today or this weekend or whenever you get the opportunity to make something from scratch. Make pancakes from scratch. I think the Bear Independent channel said that. Make pancakes from scratch. Start with ingredients and come out with a pancake that had nothing to do with a box. Being able to cook from scratch, understanding that, carrot, onion, celery, take that in any protein source, whether that be, chicken or pork, beef, whatever, and be able to make an outstanding meal out of that. Learning less about cooking by a recipe and more about cooking by technique. If you want to have the best steak or any piece of, high temperature meat or high temperature fast cooked meat that you want, that you've ever had, I'll just give you a little tip, and most of you probably know this. Get a cast iron skillet, screaming hot. Put some butter in there, a couple cloves of garlic with some thyme, some fresh thyme. Put your steak in there, sear it, blazing hot sear. And then as you're cooking that steak, take a spoon and start basting it with the butter. Do like that through the entire cooking process. If you like it medium rare, pull your steak at about 125 to 130 degrees. Let it rest, let it come up to temperature. We'll move on from that, but needless to say, if you don't have 1,000 different recipes and techniques that you can pass on to somebody about cooking from scratch, making your own bread, go look up on YouTube how to make an imitation Olive Garden breadstick and try that. You'll be amazed at just how good that is. Not only are we going to be cooking from scratch if something really goes down the tube, but it tastes a hell of a lot better, and it's a hell of a lot healthier for you, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper to do. So if you don't know that skill, you have already proven that you don't care anything about actual preparedness. And lastly, mechanical maintenance and repair. Y'all seen my channel. Y'all know I do a lot of this. I do a lot of fixing stuff. And having an understanding of how the components of everything that you own work. If something breaks, can you fix it? Do you have the money to pay somebody else to fix it? Awesome. I'm glad you can. You've done well for yourself. I'm proud of you. But possessing the skills to be able to do it, even if it's you choose to pay somebody else to do it. If paying somebody else to do it is worth it for you, awesome. I'm not going to argue with you. But the basic understanding of how to do that, if something happens and you can't get somebody to look at it. What if it's something simple, like you have something that breaks on a Friday before a holiday weekend and you just can't get anybody to get out there to take care of whatever this problem might be, and families coming in, and you got to get going tonight, right? Having the ability to do mechanical maintenance and repair on all of the things within your life is imperative. Well, anyway, that's all I got for today. I guess I'll see you guys next time.